So if we're getting more into this, you got to split it so you can see your crack all the way down. You're going to use straight lashing there and straight lashing there to hold it together. You can put a third one if you need it. You're going to take a thumb size stick and you're going to whittle it down to where the heartwood's at. Don't go cutting into the heartwood, but whittle it down so that the heartwood is starting to show. And on your stick that you cut, you want a curved notch here and a curved notch here. That way it will cradle in between here and allow it to spin on that axis. That's key. So basically what I'm doing here is making sure that I got a bow line for the initial tie off point, anchor it down, and then I just wrapped around to make my loops. And come over here to the rope. Now I got my rope spinner. We got a notch there. We're going to put a bowline knot there. You want to use a bowline knot, but you want to make it so that you can easily get it back off. So don't make it super tight. Doesn't need to be. And it doesn't have to be a bowline knot, so if there's another knot that you guys prefer, it'll work just as good. I'm good with that too. And sometimes it's easier if you go ahead and get this in here and get it tight a little bit and just kind of get the twist going. So here we go. You will basically want to make your rope go clockwise or counterclockwise for the first time, and it'll kind of look like jumping the rope. And the 2 loops or 3 loops or 4 loops, whatever you got going, they will begin to get smaller and smaller as this begins to twine up, twist up. And so you can see it started way down there and it's twisted all the way up here. So that's a good sign. Rope making or cordage has now been traced back successfully to 500,000 years. So Neanderthals were the first ones that started doing lashings and cordage and stuff like that. And I believe the largest factory that was ever created for rope walking was in the UK and England, and I think it was like 1,000 feet. So you'd have to walk this all day long, 1,000 feet each time, to just to do this. But of course they had machines, a rope making machine that twined us all up. You would just have to keep running the lines. So good distance to do all day, right? So that's what I wanted. I wanted all the slack out, see it? So now we're going to Come down here, we're going to take this off because we're going to loop it again. Get her tight a little bit. And just kind of get the twist going. So, here we go. You basically want to make your rope go clockwise or counterclockwise for the first time. And it'll kind of look like jumping rope. And the 2 loops or 3 loops or 4 loops, whatever you got going, they will begin to get smaller and smaller as this begins to twine up, twist up. And so you can see it started way down there and it's twisted all the way up here. So that's a good sign. Rope making or cordage has now been traced back successfully to 500,000 years. So Neanderthals were the first ones that started doing lashings and cordage and stuff like that. And I believe the largest factory that was ever created for rope walking was in the UK and England, and I think it was like 1,000 feet. So you'd have to walk this all day long, 1,000 feet each time, to just to do this. But of course, they had machines, a rope making machine that twined this all up. You would just have to keep running the lines. So good distance to do all day, right? So that's what I wanted. I wanted all the slack out, see it? So now we're going to... So once you got your second end over there, wrapped around there again with a bowline knot, which is how I did mine. Now you get to untangle this so you can get it back on your rope spinner again. And you be patient with this. You know, it's cordage. It's going to twist up. So you just have to kind of work the kinks out. So there we go again. Put her down in your notch. This time you want to get her spinning counterclockwise because we went clockwise the first time. So let's get her spinning a little bit here. Get some tension on there. And there we go. Back to jumping rope. Now you can make your rope spinner shorter, but remember you want the momentum to keep going long, keep going around, so a longer stick is better. Your handle size here doesn't really matter as long as it's comfortable. I don't have anything major, but this is called setting the rope. Normally you would pull this over as high as you could get it, and that really sets and stretches the fibers and sets the rope. But like I said, I don't have anything really good to anchor this onto, so my rope won't be as good. That's some of the things that you guys will create. There you guys go. And you just take her off. Now that you have your rope that you made, you need to keep it from being unraveled, right? So whatever cordage you want to use, you can use. And we're going to make a straight lash. I'm going to show you how to do that. So me, I always like loops at the end of mine, so we're going to leave the loop on. But even if you don't want a loop, you can still straight lash this and make it work good for you. So you just watch me make that loop. Hold it with one hand, so leave your tag line, which is here. We'll call this the tag end. Leave that alone for right now. And just begin to wrap going towards that loop. And you want it to be a tight wrap. But you don't have to cinch it down, just, you know, a good tight wrap. You don't want to loop over, wrap around on top of each other. Just keep it a nice, you know, spiral going up, tight spiral. Just like that. Now this would probably be pretty good to finish off with pine pitch. That glue would be probably pretty good to finish us off with, which is probably what they originally did with it. I would think would use it for that, and hafting arrows and spears. We find out more and more all the time that Neanderthals were the original bushcrafters, as far back as we can date anything. Wood is pretty hard for them to find and survive all those years, but they do find a chemical trace of it, and that's important. You know, Neanderthals, by 170,000 years ago, they were already mounting handles and shaping handles for the tools. So they definitely probably would have had a stone knife, a stone axe, things like that, that we would really recognize. So we want to take the other tag in here. We want to run it through that loop. Remember the loop? Just like that. And at this point, take your other tag line. See your two tag lines? And we want to pull until we get that loop to disappear. Now, normal cordage, you would keep pulling and pulling it tighter and tighter. But jute twine is, again, twine. It's natural cordage. It doesn't have the strength that you would with paracord. So I did an overdead knot here, also called a stopper knot. And that's just so it doesn't keep pulling all the way through. Snag on this a little bit. We'll do another overhand knot like this, just so it doesn't go back up in that way. And then we will cut the excess of the tag lines above the knot, so you don't cut your knots. And this is what we basically got. A hangman's noose is more or less what you're wanting. So I'll do the other side, and that will conclude today's lessons.